The harshest terrain often nurtures the toughest individuals, and Mongolia stands as one of the most unforgiving lands on earth. It's a tale of the people emerging from the vast steppes to forge the mightiest empires to history. This is the saga of Temujin and his journey to becoming Genghis Khan. The historical narrative of the Eastern Asia remains veiled in mystery, leaving the early accounts of the Mongols subject to ongoing debate. At the onset of the 10th century, the Proto-Mongolic Khitan people established the formidable Great Liao Empire, engaged in numerous conflicts across Korea, China, and Central Asia. The Khitans eventually succumbed to defeat by the Chinese Jin Dynasty in 1125, prompting them to establish the Western Liao state. Meanwhile, to the north, within what is now modern-day Mongolia, various nomadic tribes coalesced into a confederation known as the Khamag Mongol, meaning whole Mongol. Among these tribes was the Beijing clan, whose leader were recurrently elected as Khans of the confederation during the 12th century. However, the Khamag Mongol found themselves locked in a protracted rivalry with the Tatar confederacy, further effabullating their unity, leading to a near dissolution in the latter half of the 12th century. Yasuge, chief of the Beijing clan at the time, endeavored to reunify the tribes. In 1171, they orchestrated a union between his 9-year-old son, Temujin, and Borte, the daughter of a neighboring clan chief. Some accounts allege that the Yasugi fell victim to poisoning by the Tatars during the wedding festivities. Despite Temujin's attempts to assume leadership following his father's death, he faced rejection and subsequent exile with his family. For the ensuing 6 years, Temujin endured destitution, even enduring periods of enslavement. It was only with the assistance of his blood-brother, Jamukha and Tokrul Khan, leader of the Karai tribe, that Temujin began to amass his own following. Together, they conducted raids on other tribes, yet their alliance eventually fractured over ideological differences. Jamukha favored upholding traditional Mongolian aristocracy, while Temujin embraced capable individuals from diverse backgrounds. Threatened by Temujin's growing influence, Jamukha launched a formidable attack in 1187, with an army numbering 30,000, resulting in Temujin's decisive defeat at the Battle of Dalan Baljut. The subsequent decade of Temujin's life remained shrouded in mystery, until 1197, when he emerged as commander of the united force, compromising Mongols and Karaites in a war against the Tatars and instigated by the Jin Dynasty. It was during this conflict that Temujin sought retribution for his father's death. The Tatar chieftains were executed, while commoners were welcomed into Temujin's ranks. His leadership ethos prioritized skill and loyalty over tribal affiliation or lineage. To incentivize his followers, Temujin promised a share of war spoils to both civilians and soldiers, establishing the groundwork for a nascent code of law that would eventually underpin his Mongol Empire. The passing of his father deeply impacted Temujin, instilling in him the sacred principle of hospitality, where guests and envoys were to be safeguarded. Temujin embarked on a transformative journey, reshaping the landscape of the steppe world. With each triumph, his ranks swelled with new warriors, and he meticulously organized the Mongols into a formidable army. Introducing the decimal system, he structured his forces into units of tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. Inter-unit transfers were prohibited, and desertion resulted in the execution of 9 comrades along with the deserter. Commanders were predominantly elected by their peers, except for those overseeing the 10,000s, Tumans, who were personally selected by Khan. This hierarchical system fostered adaptivity, discipline, and unweaving alliance, essential for executing intricate maneuvers. Each able-bodied man was integrated into hierarchical framework. 1201, a coalition of rival clans convened a Kurultai, appointing Jamukha as Khan, sparking a protracted conflict with Temujin, his former blood brother. The culminating came at the Battle of the 13 Sides, where Temujin emerged victorious. In the same year, he convened a council of Mongol chieftains who elected him as their supreme leader, bestowing upon him the title of Genghis Khan, the unifying figurehead of all Mongols. Thus, for the first time, disparate tribes coalesced into a singular nomadic nation under one banner and authority. In 1209, the Mongols launched their inaugural invasion against the formidable Liao dynasty to the southwest. Although the specifics of the conflicts are obscure, Genghis Khan achieved success in pitched battles but encountered challenges in besieging fortified cities. This campaign served as a pivotal lesson in siege warfare for the Mongols, as cities gradually succumbed to starvation and disease until the Liao Emperor capitulated, pledging vassalage to Genghis Khan. Until this juncture, the Jin Dynasty had underestimated the Mongols as a minor nuisance along their northern borders, even rebuffing a plea for assistance from the Liao. However, by 1211, they were on high alert, demanding submission from the Mongols, thereby igniting war in March 1211. Genghis Khan summoned all Mongol chieftains, marshalling forces for the impending conflict against China. Despite the Jin's formidable army of approximately 18,000 infantry, predominantly comprised of untrained peasants with a wavering morale, and 115,000 seasoned heavy cavalry, the Mongols, strategically positioned, prepared to challenge their adversary spread along the Great Wall and encamped within various fortifications. Meanwhile, boasting a formidable 90,000 strong cavalry force, the Mongols comprised three key units: agile cavalry scouts, horse archers proficient with composite bows, and heavy cavalry equipped with lances and curved swords. Each soldier was not only expertly trained but also fiercely loyal. Once circumventing the unofficial Great Wall, the Mongols divided into two divisions. The primary contingent, totally 60,000 under the leadership of the Great Khan himself, advanced, while his son Ogedei commanded the remaining 30,000 to lay siege to the city of Datong. Genghis Khan directed his focus toward the pivotal Juyong Pass guarding Beijing. However, en route, he encountered staunch resistance at the Yeholing Pass, where the bulk of the Jin army awaited. Despite months of standoff, the Jin forces refused to yield ground. In the interim, Genghis dispatched his trusted general Jebei and Sabutai with a small detachment to execute a flanking maneuver, resulting in a decisive battle of Wuxia fortress and the obliteration of the Jin army and its commander. For consolidation of his second forces with the main army at Yeholing, the Mongols launched an assault amidst the rugged terrain, driving the Jin defenders back. Exploiting the unsuspected passage over the surrounding peaks, Mongol forces encircled and ambushed the Jin army from both sides, employing a signature Mongol tactic. Jebei orchestrated a feigned retreat, enticing the Jin defenders out of the fortifications before unleashing a devastating assault from all directions. With the gates to China now open, Genghis Khan initiated a series of raids throughout the countryside before withdrawing for the winter. The south witnessed another Mongol incursion, this time with a siege on Datong, during which Genghis suffered a wound from an arrow. Despite the city's tenacious defense, the Mongols once again withdraw for the winter, armed with invulnerable insights into their enemy and siege warfare. In 1213, the Mongols' unparalleled mobility thwarted the Jin's attempt at organized resistance, enabling them to conduct relentless raids across the countryside and lay siege to numerous fortresses and cities, utilizing guerrilla tactics within unfamiliar terrain. The Mongols repeatedly ambushed and defeated any attempts by the Jin to break the sieges. Cities that surrendered faced grim fates, with most of their inhabitants either slaughtered or enslaved. Nevertheless, engineers, craftsmen, traders, physicians, educators, clergy, and officials were spared and invited to join the Mongol ranks. Many others were conscripted to serve as human shields during subsequent sieges, positioned at the forefront to intercept arrows or deter archers from shooting. Following the conquest of all Jin territories north of the Yellow River, Genghis Khan turned his attention to the capital, Beijing, laying siege to it. Despite attempting to starve the city into submission, an epidemic broke out within the Mongol camp after several months, prompting negotiations with the Jin Emperor. Huanzhang, in exchange for peace, Zhuangzhang agreed to pay tribute in the form of plunder, manpower, horses, and his daughter, pledging alliance to the Mongol Khan. Thus the Mongols departed China, returning to Mongolia laden with riches. However, just behind the Grand Wall, a messenger arrived with the news for Genghis Khan. The emperor had relocated the court to Kaifeng in the south, signaling a political counterattack by the Jin. Enraged, the Mongols swiftly returned to Beijing, aided by numerous Chinese engineers, and besieged the city anew. Following its encirclement, breach, and subsequent destruction, the spoils were transported back to Mongolia in thousands of carts, while the city burned for weeks and its inhabitants suffered mass slaughter. What was initially a minor inconvenience had brought a mighty nation of 20 millions to its knees, and now the Mongol onslaught was poised to extend westward.